Justine, thanks for joining us today for an update on RTG Mining following what appears to have been a very busy period for the company behind the scenes. Now, for those who might be new to the RTG story, can we just start with a quick step through of your flagship asset, that being the development-ready high-grade Mabilo copper gold project in the Philippines?
Yeah, no problem, Alex. Nice to see you. Clearly, Mabilo for us it's a world-class high-grade copper gold opportunity that's very near-term in terms of development opportunity. So it's got a copper equivalent of sort of 3.9% or a gold equivalent of 6 grams, which is exceptional. So also fully permitted. It's got an MPSA, it's got an ECC. So we're just in the final steps of the financing side, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll push the button on startup. It's listed by the MGB, which is the Mines Department of the Philippines, as a priority project. So as a result, we really do get really strong support out of the Philippine side, which is great. That's incredibly helpful. The last project we did was the Mabilo mine, which is also in the Philippines. That was started as a 2 million sort of market cap company. Ultimately, we brought that up to over $1 billion and sold to B2 Gold. We've got 15 years in country experience in the Philippines, so we're very comfortable and we have very good relationships, and have recently actually brought in a new strong local partner called the Villar family, who are incredibly well positioned both financially and politically, and they have very strong sort of mine experience as well. So the team is working well, and we've sort of invested probably the last 12 to 24 months in really building that relationship with the new guys, and we're very happy with it, and we think we're really well positioned to now sort of get this project going together with our partner.
Thanks, Justine. Now, one of the key things that sets RTG apart from other mining hopefuls is the incredible track record of your team. Are you able to give us a rundown on some of the mines you've brought into production around the world, and what is the attraction of operating in these regions outside of Australia?
Sure. Well, we've developed 7 mines successfully over our long period of operation. We've been a team that's worked together for probably 30, 40 years. We did 3 in Australia, 1 in Ghana, 1 in Tanzania, 1 in Mongolia, and then the most recent was the Mabilo mine in the Philippines. So we've now, as I said, probably 15 years in country. Marymia and Bullabulling were both Australian, together with the Chalice mine, which was a really high-grade operation. And that was sort of 92 to 96. And from more recently, we've done the Overtan and the Golden Pride mines together with Buru. And then, of course, and they've all sort of operated at sort of 100 to 200,000 ounces a year. So each project has been delivered on schedule, on budget, and financed with both debt and equity. So we have really good relationships with both the international sort of broking and banking side of life together with Australia. One of the advantages we've seen of going into these regions is that it's a lot cheaper entry. Comes with a touch more risk, and what we do is make sure we then mitigate the technical risk so that the project is something that's strong, deliverable and successful. And really the key to this is building relationships with local communities and the local host governments and finding a win-win solution for everyone. We found that, it's something we're particularly strong at, and thankfully we've had a great deal of success.
Thanks, Justine. Now, to an important recent milestone, last week you reported that you have secured multiple attractive finance and offtake offers for the Stage 1 DSO startup at Mabilo. You must be delighted to have these offers on the table. Are you able to provide some insight into this financing process? And what are the next steps in terms of selecting the right partner?
Look, we've been really pleased with the outcome to date. So we've had multiple offers. In fact, we've got 5 on the table as we speak. So we've identified the sort of top 3 of those, providing a $25 million facility, which will be 100% of the CapEx. The CapEx is only 21, so it also allows for a bit of working capital and the like. So of those top 3 from here, what we're doing is going back to each of them to try and, let's just say, improve and optimise the term sheets to what we need. They've all been really responsive to date, and we've already got sort of second round term sheets coming back from a number of the groups. Very competitive terms already before we've even finessed them. And I think the reason why we've got such a strong response is this project is particularly strong from a financial point of view in this DSO component. You've got 21 million of CapEx, but you drive 115 million of free cash within 12 months of operation. So it's particularly strong.
Now, if I may, I'd like to dig a little deeper into the DSO startup phase at Mabilo, which will access the primary source of ore, being the supergene chalcocite material at an average reserve grade of 20.7% copper. With these financing offers received, what other preparations are you undertaking to get the DSO stage up and running, as I'm sure many investors see this as a potential re-rating event for RTG?
Yeah, and look, I completely agree with that, Alex, that, I think the delivery of finance will show guys that this project is ready to go. There's really only a couple of small steps hereafter, which is a couple of permitting and completing on the surface rights, which we need drawdown on the facility to complete. So those steps are very manageable, all under control, and very quickly, you generate sort of, as I said, 115 million of free cash. That's after tax. And RTG gets actually a disproportionate share of that because we have debt owing back to us of 27 million, which will be repaid early out of that, together with our 2% NSR and our 40% of the net profit. So of that 115 million, we expect to receive probably in the order of north of 60 million US dollars quite quickly. So once we get to commissioning, it's 12 months. And we should have 61 million US dollars of cash. So, it's particularly strong. And that positions us well then to invest into further growth into the asset because it has exceptional upside from an exploration point of view.
Thanks, Justine. So are you able to talk us through the existing resource base at Mabilo and the potential ace in the pack, which is the future exploration upside?
Sure. I mean, look, the reality is for us, the high-grade sort of development, it's ready to go. But from here in, we've done very limited drilling. It's only 18,000 metres of drilling as we had to suspend it prematurely back in 2015 because of a local partner. As we sit today, we've got just under 13 million tonnes of 1.8% copper, 1.9 grams per tonne gold and 40.5% iron. And within that, we have probable reserve of just under 8 million tonnes at 1.95% copper, 2.04 grams per tonne gold and 45.5% copper. So that contains 302,000 tonnes of copper equivalent in there. So it's particularly strong. But from here, there's huge upside. We can both extend the drilling to the north and the south of each of the ore bodies and at depth. And our expectation is that sort of 13 million tonnes that I referred to should grow to about 20 million tonnes of that. I think we're reasonably comfortable to guesstimate that. But much more importantly, we've done a lot of work on looking back at the previous results and analysing them to try and identify where the porphyry source is. And we have effectively a magnetic anomaly just to the side of the current pit, which we think would represent the porphyry side. We've gone back, re-logged the holes. We've looked at all the information, done the vectoring where we can see the molybdenite coming through the bismuth, red and green garnets. And that's quite indicative of showing direction and distance where the porphyry could sit. So our expectations, it might be only 400 metres below surface, which is particularly shallow. And if that's right, we can access it straight off the bottom of the pit, which would be a nice outcome. And to give you just some context, in Asia, the relationship between the porphyry and the skarn is typically about 15 to 1. So if we end up with 20 million tonnes in the skarn, that's potentially 300 million, tonnes of porphyry. So an absolute game changer for this project and very exciting certainly from my point of view.
And just finally, Justine, RTG is certainly uniquely positioned given your near-term development potential and clear exploration upside. I think most would agree that given your modest market cap of around 40 million, you are well poised to re-rate. Are you able to provide some insight for investors as to what the next 6 months looks like for RTG? And what are some of the key catalysts on the horizon for investors that might lead to some or more of this value being unlocked?
Sure. Well, finance, as I said, earlier, is certainly, I think, the first catalyst that I think will allow people to build their confidence this project is ready to go. Thereafter, as I said, there's probably two key steps. So we have to finish on acquiring the surface rights, which gets funded by the finance facility. So we've had to sort finance first, then we can step into the acquisition of surface rights. And thereafter, then there's one key permit that's left, which is the coconut tree permit, which you can only do once you're the owner of the properties. So it's a staged process. So each of those events will announce. So I think there'll all be a good flow of news that will allow people to progressively understand this project is on the verge of moving into development. So that hopefully back end of this year, we should be in a position to really push the button to start the development end of things and then ultimately move into startup, which would be very exciting. The key thing, I suppose, to understand also is we do have a portfolio of other assets. We have a very, very exciting exploration project, earlier stage, but has huge potential. It looks like it's 10 times sort of from a scale point of view of what Mabilo is and what Mabilo could be. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll be able to reinvest it, clearly a lot of the funds that come out of operations into both exploration at Mabilo, but just as importantly in Kyrgyzstan. Our COR has just come back from in country and we're about to go into the next round of the field season with some 3D IP programs that will then target our next drilling programs, which again, we're we're very keen to get into. So yeah, look, our view, we've got a really strong 6 and 12 months ahead of us with growth in hopefully a portfolio of other assets and also potentially a new acquisition opportunity that we're very close to moving forward on.
Thanks for the update, Justine. Great to chat with you and all the best.
No problem. Thanks, Alex.